Have you ever wondered why we move from our comfortable homes to our temporary huts in our backyard? The Sukkah. This is how we do it.
So let's talk about the mitzvah of the sukkah. First of all, to build the sukkah. A sukkah should be 4 walls. It doesn't have to be 4 walls, though it can be 3 walls, or even 2 walls and a little piece of a 3rd wall. If you look at the word sukkah in Hebrew, you will see that the samach is a letter which is completely encircled with 4 walls. The chaf has 3 walls, and the hey is 2 walls and a small wall as well.
How do you build a sukkah?
Well, I think first of all, the Sukkot, I always think about if you think about Passover as a time when the woman is cleaning and getting the kitchen ready, Sukkot is the time for the Jewish male to really let his inner workman out. And the first thing you do is, for the first time for many men, it means you're stepping into Home Depot or someplace and you're actually getting the stuff and you're putting it together. Now, the walls are important, but they're not really the focal part of the sukkah. What's really important is, what makes it a temporary dwelling, is that you're open to the sky. And it's the top covering, the schach, which is really integral to it.
The walls of the sukkah can be made of pretty much any material. Anything is kosher for the walls of a sukkah, but they should be sturdy. There are many people that use canvas for the sukkah, but it should not flap in the wind.
I've always believed in the more old-fashioned kind, that using the wood slats, although probably, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure that the Israelites probably didn't have a Home Depot when they were going through the Sinai.
The covering of the sukkah, which is called the schach, must be made of a natural growing plant. It has to be something which grew from the ground and is now disconnected from the ground. So you can't have, let's say, you can't hang a vine over your sukkah and have that be your sukkah. In fact, you can't have a tree growing over your sukkah. The sukkah must be open to the sky, directly to the sky, and nothing should overhang your sukkah. They sell today specially manufactured mats of bamboo where they sew together bamboo slats, and it's easy to just unroll it over the roof of the sukkah. As well, just for beauty, and another way of covering your sukkah, many people use evergreen leaves. The schach of the sukkah must be at least that it provides more shade than sunlight. So there has to be at least 51% of the roof has to be covered with schach, with the covering that is kosher for the sukkah. Most customs are that we put a lot of schach, much schach on it. The Chabad custom is that we completely cover, even if no sunlight comes through at all. Some people insist that you should be able to see the sky out through the schach as well.
My schach really has 2 components. There's the bamboo, which I keep from year to year, and there's the foliage. There's different fundraising campaigns, and you can actually buy them by the bundle, and you can pick them up. Or as long as you get permission, you can go to some place and actually cut them down. I don't want to sort of take away all my greenery in my backyard. There's not that much, so I go and I buy them by the bundle. I know from year to year about how big a bundle is, so I get 7 bundles, and they're good for 1 year, and then you dispose of them at the end of the year.
What may not be used are, you can't throw wooden utensils, let's say a ladder, a bunch of ladders over your sukkah, because they are made into a usable artifact, and once it's a usable artifact, it is not kosher for schach anymore.
How long does it usually take you to build it?
For my good or ill fortune, when I designed the sukkah, I made it very, very sturdy. So the panels themselves are 4 by 8 panels, and they're thick. They're not sort of the composite wood. They're real thick plywood. And I have 2 by 4s around them, because that's what I bolted to each other. So if I do it myself, between that and putting up the bamboo, which is kind of laborious, and the decorations, is really, if I do it by myself, it's a full day's work. This year I was lucky to get some help, so it really turned into a half a day, which is a bit more manageable. So I would say I've built it as much as, I think the earliest I've built it is actually before Rosh Hashanah. At least I've started it, because you want to really make sure it's there and it's sort of off your mind. And then you can worry about the decorations a bit afterwards, but I would say 1 to 2 weeks before Sukkot is the norm.
What's it like for you to tear down the sukkah?
I would say it's a bit of melancholy, actually. First of all, that you sort of lived in the sukkah for the past 7 or 8 days, and it has this special symbolic, this essence to it. And then once again, it's sort of returning to the mundane, that it's not a sukkah anymore. It's just sheets of plywood again. And then it's just the tiring part of putting it back in and getting it ready, and then wondering about next year, hoping everybody's going to be well and you'll be able to invite more people. So it's that sort of melancholy and sadness that it's gone for another year, and then looking forward to next year, that everybody should be healthy and be able to come back again.
This is Esther Ben-Bihi, and that's how we do the sukkah.